To the
This meeting is being recorded.
Hello and welcome to the Hatfield Historical Society Fall Program. We have a number of team members from the two outstanding state championship field hockey teams, the 1993 team and the 2000 team. The 93 team is celebrating its 30th anniversary of its state championship win. And we're celebrating these two teams because they put so much into their games, their participation, that they came away as state winners. So we're going to start this off by having the players introduce themselves. Could you please say your name and your team year? So
Dev, are you in the upper left-hand corner for everyone? You want to start there?
Sure. Hi, I'm Devin Elliott, part of the 1993 state championship team. Devin Bakula.
All right. I'll just go across. Lisa, what year were you in?
Lisa Mose, formerly Kokoski. I was part of 2000.
All right. Kelly Brown.
Hi, I'm Kelly Brown, and I was part of the 1993 team.
Elisa.
Hi, Alyssa Thaberge, part of the 1993 team as well.
Erin.
Hi, I'm Ann Dominoff. I'm part of the 2000 championship team.
Kelly.
Hey everyone, Kelly Dostal, part of the 2000 championship team.
Megan.
Hi, Megan McGuire, part of the 2000 team as well.
Mindy
Vanelli Marchetti, 1993 team.
Meredith.
Hi, Meredith Durow, formerly Quartermatch, and I was part of the 2000 team.
Lynn.
Linnea Kokoski, I was part of the 2000 championship team.
Holly.
Holly says 2000 team.
Daphne.
Daphne Belden, part of the 93 Dream Team. We're in the sweatshirt.
And Kimberly. Oh,
we can't
Kimberly,
hear you, Kim.
There you go.
Try again. Kimberly Sales, formerly Childs, 1993.
Thank you all so much. I really appreciate you being here. Thank you for joining us. We are recording the program, so I'm going to ask everyone to keep muted unless you're taking part. Also, team members, I know how well you've worked as a team from reading about you and hearing some of your interactions and having a chance to meet with some of you. So I really trust that you could unmute on your own, but I'm going to ask the folks who are here to listen in to give these women space because that's who we're here to celebrate.
But before you run, sorry, you missed a couple people, so I'm going to jump in and say hi. I'm Brianna.
Oh, thank you.
Loving seeing these faces. I miss you all so much. This is very cool. I'm from the 93 team, which I can't believe is 30 years ago. So we'll quickly move on.
I'm so sorry. Thank you, Brianna. Yes, this is because we have multiple fields. Did we miss anyone else? I don't think so. There were no other names I recognized.
Jen.
Renee is here. And
I'll pop
Robinson
on.
And Jen Lane.
Yeah, Jen Shay Lane. I was on the 93 team.
Brittany Robinson, formerly Wickles, 2000.
Okay.
Hey, Brett.
And Renee is here as well.
Hi there. I don't know if you can hear me or see me, but yes, I'm here.
We can hear you. Thank you for that.
Okay, sure.
Excellent. Okay, thank you so much. I want to start at the beginning. I know that some of you played hockey, field hockey for a very, very long time. And I actually have my first question is, what made you decide to play field hockey? What was it like starting? Some of you started very young. And Lisa, I know you had an answer to that. Do you want to lead us out?
Sure. So I started playing in 8th grade actually, because we had grown up playing soccer in elementary school. So I guess I sort of boycotted it during 7th grade. It wasn't offered to the younger kids when we were in elementary school, but huge shout out to Judy Strong and Devin, if you were part of it too, to get our younger kids now in the elementary school started playing, because we didn't have that opportunity. So I just thought it was odd that you'd go from playing soccer to not having soccer in high school. So I didn't play 7th grade, but then I quickly became bored. And so I thought I'd try it out. And I ended up loving it. Although I was very nervous before my first game because I had no clue what any of the calls were or what any of the rules were. But I knew that I could trust the teammates from the previous years who had played. I'm glad I decided to play because I ended up loving the sport, and we had it helped to win. Sure, that was fun. We had a great team, but we just were like a family, and it was just a very positive experience. And my kids now play soccer, but they do have the opportunity to choose whether they want to do field hockey or soccer now in elementary school, which I think is a huge advantage because, like I said, if I didn't just feel like I needed to play a sport during the fall where I was, just kind of bored doing nothing, I probably wouldn't have tried it because I was just kind of bitter that there was no soccer. I mean, you grew up playing soccer. And so I'm thankful for Judy for starting that for the younger kids. Yeah, so.
I have a note here from Allison Magiola, who wasn't able to join us, but she asked me if I would please read this. I'd always played soccer since that was my older brother did and what he taught me. So in 7th grade, I played soccer on the boys' JV team. It was fun, but I missed my girlfriends. So in 8th grade, I thought I'd give it a try. I didn't know the sport or what position I'd like, so I figured I'd try goalie since I was used to kicking a ball. I did that for 2 years and then wanted to get on the field as a midfielder, and that felt like the best fit, and I was hooked. I just loved our team. Thanks, Allie. Does anyone else want to share what made you choose field hockey? What was it like? When did you start?
So for me, I transitioned from my old school to Smith Academy. And my mom really pushed for me to join the team. I was like somewhat new to the school. I knew the kid, but I wasn't going to Smith Academy or Hatfield Public School for full time. I would come in every one Friday a month throughout the school year. So I got to know the kid. And so 8th grade was my first year at Smith Academy, and I was terrified. But being a part of a team really eased my transition from my previous school to this school. And talking with Coach Webb, having her help me figure out my position, and it turned out I was good at being a sweeper or defense because I would stop the ball. And I had to stop Kelly Doctor's ball, and oh my goodness, she packed a punch. I thought that would break. But anyway, but I need to point it out, you end up loving the sport as you play throughout the years. So I wish I could have continued on, but my back wouldn't let me. But I really do enjoy it, and thanks to my mom to push me to, like, you're going to field hockey, like you're going. And so I fell in love with it.
Holly, I saw you.
Yeah. Hey guys. I just have to say, U93 team, we were obviously 10. at the time, but you guys were such an inspiration to everybody and the whole town. So I think that made every girl in town want to play field hockey. So that's what it did for me, for sure.
Kelly, I see you're
happy to jump in on that, Holly. I couldn't agree more. I think the legacy from the 93 team, when you're, 8, 9, 10 years old, and you're just like, think that people in high school are immortal, and just like, wow, you look up to that crew so much. And I think just the legacy that Coach Webb had built in the sport, and then seeing the 93 team win it, I remember being like, I can't wait to get an opportunity to try to do that and to try to be a part of such a storied program and a storied team. So I think the 93 team, all of you, seeing you here is like, I'm a little bit like starstruck, because I remember thinking that when I was a kid, and it still feels that way today. So really having that foundation in place for the 2000 crew to come in and to really be able to sort of follow in your footsteps is just an incredibly special memory, and certainly motivated and inspired me to.
Can you tell my son that I'm immortal? You tell everyone that.
Well, I don't want to speak too much for Mindy and myself, but I swear that first week of Hell Week of conditioning, I don't know if we were going to make it past that first week. We were like tried in 7th grade, and we were like, what is this sport? This is insane, but we can't play soccer and we have to do something. So, but I just remember Coach killing us, that first week, and like mountain climbers looking at each other being like, dude, this is not for us. I'm not sure like we're going to continue with this, but we're sure happy we did.
Yeah. This is a terrible idea.
Right.
Mindy, was that your response? Was that your initial take?
I mean, that same week of first practices, I'm 5'10", right? So bending down as low as possible to the ground with a stick was not great for 5'10". So that's why I offered to be the goalie, and sort of changed my life with that one lazy choice. Sorry, Miss Webb, it's true.
Weird how I went the exact opposite way. So she went to goal and I went to forwards, but yeah, it worked. It all worked out.
And so when you got to the first practice of your winning year, how was that? That must have been very different from your first practice when you were in 7th or 8th grade. What was that like coming into your winning year?
I was thinking more about that, Marcia, and one of the things that the first practice wasn't as big of a deal because we played together during the summer at summer camp. So we would go to Yukon or wherever the summer camp was, and all of us would be there and play together on turf every day for a week. So it was always a continuation of that. We were very fortunate that our parents all funded that.
And I'm sure that first practice was just as much running as the first one in 7th grade. We were just a little bit more used to it at that point. Not that we enjoyed it anymore, but we were just more used to it.
What about you, Coach Webb? Any difference in the first practice of those 2 years? You'll have to unmute yourself. Oh, you're still muted. Oh, technology is such a horrible thing. There you go. Yeah.
It's pretty funny for me to hear this. Mindy volunteered to be the goal. She begged to be the goalie. Not because she was brave or confident. Tell me how much you love that running, man. And every time they go for a run, she would say to Alyssa, how's that? You like it? Go ahead, run some more. And they talk smack all the time. Unbelievable. And my practices were the same. On the corner, go run, go play 30 minutes. I'll see you in a half an hour and we'll talk some more. It was simple with great athletes. I was very fortunate. Very fortunate. And I
One of
wish I had the mute button then, primarily for two, and you all know who I'm talking about. All of you know, even the 2000 kids and the 93 kids, they all know who needed to be quiet, Sizzler. So, and you talk about how you looked, the 2000 kids looked at the 93 kids. I remember so well playing at Smith College under the lights, remember? And all of the little squirts were sitting right underneath the ropes. And every time I would say, go to the ball, they'd all look at each other and go to the ball, go to the ball, go to the ball. Or I would, beat somebody or go with it. And they'd repeat the same little words, nod their heads, because they were learning from you guys.
So for what made you feel invested in the team? You practiced together for years, you played together for years, and I've heard over and over from various members of both teams that it felt like a family, that it felt really close. Was there something particular that made that happen? It was just the common work of being together.
I think it always felt like you were part of something bigger. I never thought of myself as an athlete, and so got involved in 8th grade as well as a couple other folks because I wanted something to do and I wanted to be part of something. And I think the more Coach Webb killed us. So it was tough, but you bonded over the toughness. And as you became part of a winning team, to just feel the town get behind you was, I remember my dad saying to me the year that we won, you will remember this experience for the rest of your life, being like, and you're 17, 18, thinking like, this is going to be the biggest thing that's ever happened to me, but it's truly one of the biggest things that's ever happened to me. And it's just that energy, that it's just something so much bigger than you.
Mm-hmm.
If I can say something, I think one of the things I wrote in my reflection that didn't come up is just, when I think, Coach Webb, when I think about the fact that, like, it wasn't that she knew everything about field hockey, it was that you knew how to build a program. And so, this started for me, as a 2nd grader, I was a bat girl for the state championship softball team. And I remember jumping in that fountain with the girls as a 6-year-old, 7-year-old. And thinking like, this you don't have a choice. Like, you guys can say you looked up to the 93 team. Like, I just felt like I got to 7th grade and I was going to field hockey camp, and that's what I was doing. And to like be a part of something, it was every class that was before us and every class that came after us. And I had 7 girls in my graduating class. Right. And was part of a team that beat every other team in Massachusetts. Like, the humility, the hard work, like, when I listened, Sherry, to your audio, when you were like, I had to teach these 1993 girls how to celebrate. Like, Alyssa, I can remember like us, like, we would score and our heads would go down and we would go back and line up. Like, we would do like a quick like fist bump, but like straight faced, right? Like, we didn't even celebrate. We were just next. Like, we are a force to be reckoned with. We're coming back. And if we get 3 more, that's what we'll do. Because it was just this intensity. And I still feel that way a little bit. Like, I just love those. I feel like those virtues that we learned, like the humility, the just like put your head down and work harder because you can beat anybody. It's amazing to be part of something like that. And I really do feel like reflecting on it is fun to think about how I've brought that into other parts of my life. I wish that we had the chat function to chat each other, because I see these faces like, Alyssa, I see you. And I'm like, oh my God, I haven't seen you in so long. And, I don't know. It's just really a huge memory for me to see all of you. And all you young folks, I'm like, oh, I babysat for you. Like, I remember you, and it's just awesome. It's awesome to be part of something like this. And in my job as a teacher, I try to bring a little piece of this small community to where I am, because I just am in awe and thankful for all the time I spent with all of you, because it's just awesome.
It's funny. They say it takes a village, and it truly did take the village. And Hatfield's a terrific place. to bring up children and to have been a child. I mean, there's nothing like dump trucks welcoming you home. Really and truly, and seeing people on the street with painted sheets to welcome you home. And you guys built each other up. You all have done some very special things in your lives that make me incredibly proud. But let's also recognize we couldn't have done it without your parents. Your parents were crazy. Absolutely crazy in the very best way. Decorating that locker room, every game we went to as the visiting team, we had more fans than the home team. And I'm glad Denise is here because she mentioned more than once, she told her boss at CVS, it's field hockey season, I'm out. True, right? So, I mean, the whole circumstance was so special in so many ways. And now that you look back as adults, we were Division I state champions. Division I. That's pretty darn cool. And even as the 2000 team being the Division II state champions, every team we played was huge. Every school we played they had more custodians than we had students. So there's a lot for you to be proud of.
I want to check back about the dump trucks. There's two
that
things
was very special.
Yeah,
When we won
hear.
Western
Tell me
Mass
about-
Championships, we got the police cars, fire trucks, rescue vehicle. But one of the town crew told us, you win this time, you win this, we'll bring the dump truck. And so they did. And the whole way after the game, there's going to be the dump truck's going to be there. I tell my college athletes about this now, they just wouldn't appreciate it. They wouldn't. It's something special. And Jen, with your athletes, I'm sure you share your experiences, and Leonard, with your new steps here. We're hoping that some of the stuff that Hatfield taught you, you're teaching those kids. I know you are, Jen.
So what were some other traditions? I mean, the dump truck sounds like it was a bit of a big deal, but were there other like traditions in the games? There's a cake thing that I've seen pictures of and I've heard words of, but I'd love to hear more about. And what are other traditions that were a real part of this experience for you? They really stand out for you.
Taco dip. I still make taco dip every now and then.
We always
Go ahead, Renee.
always cranked rum shaker.
With the cake thing, I can tell you about that. Alyssa and I had a pretty wicked tradition of shoving the celebratory cakes in each other's faces. It was always, a challenge to see who could get who. I don't know why our parents or this, the school allowed us to do that, but it was a lot of fun.
I absolutely remember that, Renee. And being at your guys' championship party at the Legion, and you guys just destroyed each other with that cake. I absolutely remember that. And
Those
one of our
two look
traditions-
innocent, but they are not innocent.
Never.
And just to add something else, going back to what you were saying about the bonding, you asked, why do you think we bonded so strongly as a family? For the 93 team, there was no expectation for us that year. We were supposed to be a building year, if you recall. We had lost a lot of strong players. I had two older sisters, so I knew many of the players previous, and they had some absolutely phenomenal players, but they didn't really, couldn't really just come together as a team to achieve that excellence. So for us, there wasn't pressure, and I think that helped us to bond together, to just do the best that we could. And with no expectation, every victory, we were thrilled, and I think it inspired us to work harder. And then once we made it to, the tournament and kept winning, I remember Coach Webb kept saying, "We're just happy to be here. We're just happy to be here." Remember that? I mean, that was the phrase for that year. And I think we bonded.
And none of us believed it. We wanted more.
Right. But there was no star on our team. Previous years, there was sometimes like a star. There was an expectation that player was going to carry them. For our year, when we started as 8th graders, freshmen, whatever, there was no star. We all were in the same boat. We didn't really know what we were doing. And so I think we became stronger because of that.
I see some people nodding. Kelly and Devin and Alyssa and Megan, Lynn, all of you nodding. Do any of you want to speak? Or Kimberly?
I'll speak. So to clarify a little bit what Renee's talking about. So Renee's actually talking about our freshman year, when the year before there were some phenomenal players on the team that had graduated, and coming in, we were just these newbies. Like, we had played a couple of years at JV, and we're kind of like, all right, like, we'll see what happens. And that year we ended up coming out and winning Western Mass, which I don't think had been done in a while by a Smith Academy team. So that was, I think, surprising to all of us. And so then we got a little bit of taste that year. And then I think we lost 2 Western Mass finals in a row after that. And so I think senior year, we came in really hungry. And we were like, all right, like, this is our year. Like, this is it. There's no other options. There were 5 of us seniors that year. And, we just took it game by game and really went after it. And it was like 1 win led to 2 wins, kind of from there on out. And, we crushed teams in the tournament that, on paper, we probably had no business crushing because of the size of our school. I went on to play in college, and one of my teammates was actually on the Weston High team who we beat in the finals. And a friend of mine who I later worked with was a fan at the game, and just like, we were like, they thought they were going to beat us because they knew how small we were and everything. And I think there was just a determination, and it was about the culture that had been built by Miss Webb, and we bought into. And it wasn't always easy. Like, there were definitely moments. I think, you look back now and like, oh, it was all great. Like, we had our struggles too. And I remember some tough games, that we pulled out, but, it was a lot of fun, and we did it together. I mean, I think that was the biggest part of it. It was together. It was not one individual person or 2 individual people. It was a team effort all around, which was great.
They sound like angels now, don't they? Yeah. They talk so much. Oh my gosh. That 93 team with Alyssa and Mindy chirping at each other. Keep that weak stuff, and you didn't say stuff, out of here. And Alyssa would just hit it harder and harder. And Mindy just kept saving them.
I have to say that year too, I think as a sophomore and looking up to that senior class, it was just, I just wanted to be like them, right? Like, I watched them. We were only 2 years apart, but that seemed like an eternity at that point. And, everything they did in practice, I wanted to do it. I saw the success. I saw the friendships, the fun. My favorite was the mixtape that Mindy made for the bus ride. I mean, I have to be honest, that was my favorite part about field hockey for a while. And then the rest of it is just history, but it was so fun. It was just so fun with this group.
I totally agree for the Team 2000. Like, there's so many traditions that you can't even name them all, but like, going back to what Ms. Webb was talking about with the parents and the support, like, I didn't realize it wasn't a normal thing to have your parents like totally decorate the locker rooms and like give you goodie bags. I was like talking to my husband, and I'm like, oh, you didn't have this for your team, for your games. Or like, it's the team dinners. A lot of parents hosted team dinners for us. So many memories, the mixtapes. There's some traditions that we won't speak of, right, Hal, that we don't want to maybe more on the
Don't
private side.
spoil my image.
But yeah, there's so many traditions that kind of kept us going, and it was fun to be a part of.
Thank you.
Renee, do you have something?
Holly, I see you opening. Do you want to?
Hey, I'm just dying over here. This is great. And I got like chaos of twins. I do remember a tradition, and it wasn't even, well, besides Rump Shaker, of course, which we constantly cranked, and it's still always burned into my memory. But I remember the year before us, somebody used to, it was like the first game, Coach, you probably remember this. Somebody accidentally spit on somebody's foot. I think it was like Jessica Pettit or something. And then it was like a constant before every game. Somebody had to like spit on her foot. Does anybody else remember that?
Now I do.
So I it's just, you know, I couldn't remember what I did yesterday, but I remember that, of course. And I wore like the same socks the entire season. I'm almost positive, because it got really gross.
Yeah.
But it was just funny. I couldn't stop.
I was gonna say, having to wear like the same thing, like if you wore an undershirt, you had to wear the same one, so it had to be washed the next day so you could wear it again. Or when we played against Martha's Vineyard in like the finals, like you couldn't wear an undershirt even though it was like 25 degrees and there were snow flurries. Like you couldn't wear an undershirt because it was just, that was just the tradition. So
yeah, totally.
Some traditions sound like fun, and some traditions sound like a little less fun.
Disgusting. Yeah.
We do have 2 pairs of your socks. I don't know to whom they belong, but we do have 2 pairs of socks on exhibit in the museum right now. They are clean.
Oh.
So I think they're from 2 different years because they're very different colors. Jen and Devin, you kind of hinted at the championship year, championship games, going into those bigger games, and all of these traditions, especially things like spitting on someone's foot or wearing lucky sock or wearing the same thing because you have to. Take us back to your championship game. You all won state championship. Take us back to that game. What was that game like? I know it's big. I got chills. I'm like, I'm going to hear about that game.
We played that at WPI, didn't we? And didn't it rain the whole way there? And we got there like 10 minutes before the game was supposed to start, and it stopped raining. And every time we would have a halftime, I've seen pictures like steam coming off you guys because it was a little cold and you were a little warm. And it didn't rain the entire game. And I handed the state championship trophy to the captains, which Renee always seemed to get the trophies. That's right, because no one dared take it from you. And then it started raining. And we get back on the bus, and Mindy goes, "Where's the NCAAs? I think it's in Maryland. Let's go there. We'll play them." Yeah, we were a little foolish.
we played at Worcester State. I remember that.
Yes, yes. That was a cold night.
Yes.
That's what everyone told me. I wasn't cold.
I remember, Miss Webb, you were talking all day long about, or like there was like chat about where the other bus was at any given point because they were coming in from Martha's Vineyard and how ridiculous it was that they were like taking a boat to get to us, and I had like no concept somehow of where Martha's Vineyard was.
I could have told them about anything. And at that point, yes, Miss Webb. Yes, Miss Webb.
I just remember, honestly, like knowing we were going to win. Like it wasn't even a question of whether or not we were going to win or lose. Like we were going there to win.
Yeah, that's why we went.
No,
I
but
totally
you know,
agree. We were just, I feel like our team was calm. We were like, we got this. We're going to do this. We're just going to come out and do our thing and we're going to crush this team. I don't think any of us felt like we were not going home victorious. Like that wasn't even a thought process. So it was fun.
I totally agree. And I just remember like the chills that I had even before the game started. Like, I think it was probably a combination of like nerves, of course, you're nervous, but like also just like knowing that we're going to win. And then of course, knowing that we're going to see the dump truck at the end.
That's right. Big finish with a dump truck.
All comes back to the dump truck.
Hi, John.
Yeah, I agree with that too. It was like we were loud and proud and we were coming for you. That's seriously all I thought.
Yeah, those two teams both had a sense of, we're rolling over you, poor thing. I'm sorry, but your season's over now. The whole way through the tournament, it didn't matter who it was, Western Mass, state semi, both of these teams were just so confident. It was great.
I think it might have been the practice, or at least that week leading up to the finals. There was an article in the Weston paper. It might have even been the Boston Herald. And I remember Coach Webb bringing that to practice, and it fired me up. I think it fired all of us up just about, they were kind of talking smack about us, 38 girls in the whole high school, like what could they do? I don't remember word for word, but that really made an impact because again, they did not suspect that we had the talent we did.
Yeah, they were determined, but let's not ever forget how talented this group of young women were at, in my opinion, the most difficult sport you can play. Even harder than golf. But these guys, they're so good and they worked hard to get better every day. I'm going to get better every day. And they did. And I think that's such an important feature for them now as not so young adults.
So speaking of the media, can we get Marty in on this convo? Because, we all thought we were normal and fantastic, but I don't know what it looked like from the outside. And Marty was with us like every step of the way, I feel like, and kind of became a little bit a part of the team at some points, I think. So Marty, any thoughts you want to share?
It's very kind of you to invite me into this. I was actually just tapping out a message in the chat, which I will send after my comments, because I do have to head out in just a couple minutes. But yeah, just lovely, lovely memories. I was fortunate to be working for the Gazette and had a chance to cover a lot of high school sports in the 1990s. And I always loved the trips over to Smith Academy because not only was I in for an outstanding display of athleticism and teamwork and community, but also just a great sense of spirit and fun. That was always the case. And, there's just something about a successful team in a small town that is so bonding and so inspirational. It just was fun. It does not seem like such a long time ago.
No.
I will be sort of scooping myself, as we say sometimes in the journalism business, but I teach journalism now. I left the Gazette in 1999, unfortunately missed the 2000 championship, but congratulations to all you folks as well. And I've been here ever since. They started a program in communication sports journalism. And so I'm still doing that stuff. And at this very instant, right now, there is a field hockey game playing out, a couple, maybe a quarter mile down the road from here. And doing the play-by-play is one of my students by the name of Emily Zambarano, who happens to be I describe her in my little note here as a total fireball of energy in the Alyssa Wickles mode. But beyond that, she also happens to be the girlfriend of one of Devin's sons, if I'm correct, right? And so that's a small world.
Definitely.
But yeah, just great memories of all of you. And, you know, you were an amazing bunch then, you're a more amazing bunch now. And it's really just a great honor to be part of this tonight. So thanks so much for giving me the opportunity.
Thanks for being here, Marty.
Thank you,
Of course,
It means a
Sherry.
lot to us.
All right. You all take care and stay in touch. Drop me a line at Springfield College if you get a chance.
Thank you, Marty.
Thanks,
right.
Marty.
Yeah.
So, Lynn, you had mentioned that you knew you were going to win going into your championship game. And I saw a couple nodding heads. Was that like all of you just knew you were going there to win and you were going to win? You knew that? Or was there was no doubt? Yep. All these nodding. This is amazing to hear that, like, that you had that certainty. I loved my little tiny section of field hockey, but I went to a very, I had 900 people in my graduating class. There was no chance that I was going to be enough to play on a field hockey team. So this is such a, I'm having a fangirl moment for all of you. So it's amazing that you knew you were going to win to that degree. Holly, were you going to say something?
I do remember a slight hesitation at that game, our last one against Martha's Vineyard, because there was, I don't know if she was center forward or what, but it was like right when we dropped the ball, I remember thinking, oh my God, they have a Kelly too. Like, she was wicked good. I was like, oh shit, these guys might be good.
Totally agree. She was really good, but our center mid was obviously better. So.
Oh yeah.
There you go. I still believe, looking at these two teams, it would, if you went out and played today, we wouldn't need the dump truck, but we would need the ambulance.
Oh my God.
I'm coaching at Mount Holyoke now, which is a joy, but you guys could beat them because you knew you control the ball, you control the game. They don't know that. They just don't. And you guys knew it and know it now. It's great to see.
One lesson that I definitely learned, just to go, like, I don't know if I would say like I knew we were going to win, but I knew we were going to be the best possible team that we could be. And like, I always tell my students, like when I bring them to competitions, I said, you can't control the others, right? But we can control that every moment that we spent leading up to this is what is going to make us win tonight. And I think like that's a big lesson I learned from this, is like, have your future self thank today's self, because you can play a little longer, you can do a little bit more. And I just want to say, like, we didn't wear masks. I mean, come on. I know they do now, but like we were tough, you know, and we were ready to fly at that ball, and you know, we were ready to take on whoever, and it was like we trusted each other. Like, going off of what Jen said, like I knew, like, if the ball got by me, Jen was going to stop it, and Jen didn't stop it, Mindy was going to stop it, and the minute it got out, it was going from boom to boom to boom. We all knew where we were going to be. Like, you could anticipate. We were like a machine. And it was just, we moved like that. And when we got to play on turf on that final, like, everybody was afraid of turf. I was like, this is us, because I knew Alyssa's speed, Katie's speed, Devin's speed, right? Like, I knew Renee, like, knew where everybody was going to be, right? And Jen could just nail that ball. And Mindy, you know, it's like it all just, I can see it. And it's just so fun and cool to think about. You know, just that night, that way. We were the best that we were ever going to be. And if anybody could beat that, I would have been shocked, you know, because we were just ready. And that's a really, really cool feeling. And again, I'm just grateful for doing it.
You know, you talk about you guys being tough. Judy Strong's class that I had the privilege of coaching, I didn't let them wear shin guards. Move your feet, for goodness sakes. Poor Renee didn't even get to wear catcher's shin guards when she was a catcher for softball, right? Just put on the field hockey shin guards and move.
Until they made us. They made it mandatory.
Yeah, then they made us. Son of a gun. And that's why we have kids on rotaries now who don't know when to get off the rotary.
Did you really not let them wear shin guards?
Well, heck, it was the 70s, for crying out loud.
We didn't have seatbelts.
The only people at the game were the Strongs and the two officials. Who knew?
They're going to slow you down. Don't be a weenie.
Do you remember
But
when they
yes,
did the
you
mouth
guys
guard?
were tough.
Do you remember when they did the mouth guard checks and sometimes we'd have to pass them to each other because you forgot your mouth guard?
Yeah.
It's pretty gross.
They didn't make you put them in. They just had to see them.
Yeah. Well, kind of related to that, I think we could tell too that we were different from other teams because when we would, I don't know, maybe it was at tournaments or something where you would hear other teams talk after a game or before, whatever, we could see the differences. Like the other team wouldn't care that they lost. They would just be having fun and laughing. If we lost, we were pissed off. We were like, this isn't going to happen again. We took it
both
serious.
times.
I mean, throughout the years. And I remember a good friend of ours saying to me, why are you so upset if you lose? It's just a game. And I was like, you don't understand. We work so hard. We put so much effort and care into, it wasn't just about winning, but it was like how much we cared for each other and for the effort that we put in. We wanted to see it to fruition. There was something that was just ingrained in us that was different from other teams. I think that, and we witnessed that. And I don't know where that came from or whatever, but it just definitely was inherent and in that sense grew, I think, as we aged through high school.
I think there was a sense that you showed up as a member of the team in every place that you showed up, whether it was on the practice field, on actual game days, but outside of that. And someone mentioned humility earlier. And when I think back at some of the things that I learned from my time playing, I think one of the big ones is that, like, Miss Webb, you didn't let us be jerks at all. Like everything was, not only are you going to be the best possible players, but you are going to be respectful and kind, and you are not going to do anything that would let me down or this town down. And that's something that I've carried through the rest of my life since. It's like you put your best foot forward, but you are also a good person, and you show up as a representative of Smith Academy, of this team, of this town, and of the other members of the team.
That speaks, that says it all. Yeah.
And I think
go ahead.
Sorry, I was just saying I love the point from Megan, just like the ability to, learn how to win with a level of respect for your opponents, but also lose the level of dignity. We're fortunate, the folks that are on the call, to, in the championship runs, to not have losses. And we've all probably gone on and been sports fans in our lives since our wins. And having an undefeated season is a very, very, very difficult thing to do. It's almost better to have a loss to kind of like give you a little bit of a reality check. And it's super special that neither of these teams had to go through that reality check to go on and win a championship. But Megan, to your point, I think that the way that both teams and the program that Miss Webb built, and I mentioned earlier the legacy that was built, I think that the town respected that a lot as well, right? Where it's so easy for our teachers to get behind us, for people in the community to get behind this team, because it's just a bunch of good people, right? That are out there working towards a goal. And when we look at over the course of life, it is quote unquote just a game, but to rally a town in such a small town, I think that when I reflect back on our championship season specifically, and just think about a little bit of like the magic of it, that you could feel building and building and building, like the community just rallying and rallying and rallying and rallying, and like the crowd getting bigger and bigger and bigger as you continue to win. It was like just this unbelievable thing that so fortunate to have been a part of, because I think that it's, first of all, growing up in a town the size of ours, and then having the success that both of these teams had is such a rarity. So reflecting back on that is just incredibly powerful, and I think something that each of us probably brings a little bit to wherever we are in our lives at this point, of just what, you know, community can do for whatever it is, whether it's sport, whether it's our jobs, whether it's, you know, whatever it may be. So super fortunate for the experience, but I think Megan, such a powerful call out of just the types of people, because that can truly make or break your ability to build the championship season and this overall pursuit of excellence.
Yeah, I would concur, just from based on the pieces of the community reaction to putting this together, and the letter that I just got and put up on the website from the from the principal, who knew we were doing this, couldn't join us tonight, but wanted to write a letter to the two teams that's now up on the new website, because of what the teams gave to the town. You know, there was a reciprocity that I think, you know, speaks to what Megan said and to what Kelly just said. Like, that support, you weren't alone in that they felt that the community obviously felt like the team was giving back, and that there was so much interest. Like, we have on exhibit a parking space, Falcons parking space champion sign that went up on the I guess the DPW designated a parking space for you that stayed up for a couple of years. You know, that is unusual. That is amazing. And it just really points and underlines everything that, you know, Kelly just said. Are there other, like, particular pieces that you recall of the community support, of family support, that stand out to you, that helped you achieve this amazing thing?
I would like to point out, when we would play at Smith College, I always felt like we were going to win. And with about 6 or 7 minutes left in the game, I began to get very anxious, because you had such support from the community and from the student body. And I was always afraid that some of those boys would jump on the pile and somebody get hurt. Always. Because they always did. They shared in it with us. And so many times, like, some years we'd play the boys soccer team and field hockey, which was a riot, but I think it helped to establish you in the school community, because you were athletes. And from a woman who for a long time, and is still waiting for women to be accorded the proper respect, these two teams, and many others as well at Smith Academy, earned respect for being athletes, true athletes. So that makes me doubly proud of you all.
Seeing a lot of smiles in response to that. There's not a lot that tops having your coach say something like that, even now. I mean, I can see that. And how does that, like, so having taken this experience forward in your life now, what is the impact of that sort of support, of that sort of, you know, being part of that sort of athletic experience, having that sort of community and that sort of team? How is that translated into the rest of your lives?
I think one thing that we took for granted, it was not only having Miss Webb as our coach, but as the athletic director at Smith Academy. So as girls teams, we were always treated equally to the boys teams, because it's not like that in a lot of other places. Like, when I got to college, or in the, you know, I coach at the softball at the college level now, like, there's a lot of inequality. But we never felt that, because, you know, and sometimes it was like we actually got more than the boys got because of the position that Miss Webb was in. And so I think that gave us a lot of confidence, and like a lot of feeling of like we really belong here. It was never like, oh, it's the boys and then it's the girls. It was like, no, we were right there, if not even, like I said, a little bit of a step higher. And I think that helped all of us be stronger women as we went, you know, into college and into, you know, our careers. I think that's definitely a tribute to Miss Webb and the way that she treated us and she treated the, you know, the girls sports programs at Smith Academy.
Amazing group.
Anyone else? How it's translated into your life later? Oh, Allie has joined us. Allie, I did read your statement at the beginning about what it was like to be on the team at the beginning. And Kimberly and Daphne, and then there's a couple of Brittany, some other folks who haven't shared as much. I want to make sure, Trisha, and want to make sure you get a chance if you feel like answering this.
I just think people who haven't experienced it can't really relate to it. Like, you know, I talk to close friends or even my husband, people who weren't on a winning team and didn't have this same experience. Like, they honestly can't relate to it. So, I mean, I work in the health field and I talk to my patients and it's like, they're like, oh yeah, that's cool. But it's like, they don't get it. So unless you're part of it, I don't think you really understand how important and like the impact it made on your life. And I mean, I can talk about it all the time. I think it's so cool, but people who didn't experience it, I just don't think they can relate.
That's cute. I know for me, even in my professional life now, when even leading a team of coworkers, even interviewing people to join my team, I'm always assessing the characteristics of, are they going to mesh with the team? Do they have the same goals? Do they have the same drive? Is excellence expected? That's a big thing. And not everyone has that. I mean, you might learn it from something else, but this group of people, this is where it came from kindergarten, starting in kindergarten with Miss Webb teaching us gym class, right? I mean,
right.
You
were all so cute then,
right? A little less sassy.
Oh no, you were sassy, Vanelli.
Yeah, I just think that it shaped my whole life. It really did. In the real life, I want to fire people who don't adhere to team boundaries. Like, that's my, get them out, they're done. Yeah, I know that's not real life all the time, but that's what I'm looking for, right? A team that gels the way we did.
Mm-hmm. It's a rare and special thing, especially to come through that as classmates, you know. And I know that you have a range of ages, you know, you weren't all in the same class, but to have that experience all the way through school, to have gelled so tightly, especially, I'm really conscious of this right now in 2023, and the way that the pandemic has fractured so many teams and so many people's experience. This feels even more precious and even more special. I just want to thank you very, very much for this. It is 7 o'clock. We do have time to go over a little bit. And Allie, you had unmuted. I want to make sure to give you an opportunity if you have something that you want to contribute.
Yeah, hi. Sorry, I'm so late. So happy to join though. I was going to say a few things, but one, I don't know if it's already been covered, but Kelly, I think you were mentioning about how we liked to play on turf. I was thinking we had the best home field. Like, our field was so well manicured and short, and like, we just had the best field. And I don't know if that's been acknowledged yet, or to thank the people who mowed the lawn, but wow, that was like incredible for us to always have maybe that home field advantage, right? Because it was just, we can move fast. But gosh, Miss Webb, it's so nice to see you. It's so nice to see everybody.
To see you, Allie.
I'm like in the dark, but yeah, it impacted my life as well. And Mindy, I can relate. Like, when I'm interviewing people, I'm like, is this a team player? And I always think about that and how they would be a part of the team. And I have all of you to thank for that. So just happy to be a part of it. Thanks.
I'm gonna call on some folks here because, you know, sharing the spotlight. Brittany, if you want to, Brittany, you had said something. Do you want to?
Please, Britt. Sure, thanks. Sorry, just finishing up here at conference night at school tonight. So it's been a long day. But you know, there's just so many life lessons that looking back and hearing all the memories, and even to my students, I know Kelly, you were talking about relaying the message to your students as well, but you know, I use the athletics analogies with the kids all the time and talking about how you have to practice to be able to be at the best that you can possibly be is a huge life lesson. And even perseverance and not giving up. I mean, looking back at all of the lessons now as an adult that we learned back when we were in high school experiencing these, I don't think I ever realized it back at the time until you got older, and then you realized in looking back, so many good life lessons.
Thank you. Kimberly, you're the other person that I'm going to turn the spotlight on here. Do you want to, if you have something you'd want to contribute, want to make sure everyone gets a chance. Oh, okay. Oh, you're muted.
Oh. Talk to us, Kimmy.
There you go.
I'm just enjoying sitting back and listening and remembering.
Thank you.
Kimmy's class. Every girl in Kim's class played field hockey.
It's accurate.
Yeah, there were 6 of us, and we all
all 6.
One thing I'll say that no one talked about yet, which probably almost all of you did the same as me, continued playing through college. And Miss Webb, you did such an amazing, your program was so good, and you worked us hard, and you built us into such great, strong athletes that I had a seamless transition to play in college. I mean, I felt so prepared, and like, you know, I wasn't even scared. I was like, oh, I got this, like, let's make it happen. And it was, you know, it was in large part because of you and what you taught us and how to work as a team and how to be prepared and to run our little butts off whether we wanted to or not, enabled me to do that at the next level. So, you know, for me, that was awesome too, because it allowed me to continue playing a game I love so much.
Mm-hmm.
I would +1 that and also say that I brought some of Miss Webb's drills to my college team. I was like, here's some better drills. Let's do these.
That's fantastic. Coach Webb, do you want to have a closing word here? We're getting down to it.
I want to take all these people home with me. And maybe not Holly, but you know. No, that's not true, Holly. You know that. I miss you messing my hair. It's so wonderful to hear from you all. And I wish you knew how important you are to my life. Because you are.
I'm going to make sure that Marty's comment that he put in the chat here, I'm going to ask if I can include that on the website because clearly he feels deeply for all of you. And again, from your coach, from the reporters who reported on your team, from the bus drivers, you know, we're not even talking about your parents. It's just, you know, your coach, reporters, bus drivers, the DPW, you know, when you have the DPW making it's like an official looking metal, you know, Smith Academy Falcons #1 sign, metal parking sign that, you know, I'll get the details and make sure they're included in when it goes up on the website. But yeah, that's not just another team in town that's good. That's something special. And I really, really appreciate all of you coming out tonight and sharing your memories and making this happen. there's a couple comments in the chat, but there's no questions. And it's just something about the barn. There's a barn question.
Tell us, Jen. Tell us
Not-
about your barn.
It's not a question. It's the point about that they painted our championship on the side.
Oh,
of the
right.
barn.
Yes.
State championship 22-0, 1993. I mean, it's just the whole town. It's awesome.
And that, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think that was a parent of a player, right? That was just community support.
No, it was my dad. My dad.
Oh, it was your dad. Okay.
It's behind my parents' house and it's fading. He can't repaint it. So if anyone wants to grab a couple paintbrushes and go have a paint party, I'm sure we could.
What's your brother up to? I feel like that could be a nice
He's
project.
pretty busy, I think.
Yeah.
Jen, look around you. Do you want any of these women picking up a paintbrush? Really?
We would do an okay job. We could get it done.
I have no doubt you would do an okay job. Might take a little while. You would.
There'd be a lot of talking.
And giggling.
True.
True.
Sounds like a great time. All right. I think we're coming to a close. Is there anyone who wants to say one more thing? And also, if there's anything that you think of in the days and weeks or months to come, the Smith Academy Field Hockey website will be live and we'll have this recording on it. And if you come across anything that you want added, just please email the Hatfield Historical Society at gmail.com and we'll get it up there for you. It's wonderful, wonderful to have all of this happen tonight. Thank you so much. I'm going to turn it over to Eileen. And
real quick, just as we wrap up,
yeah,
on behalf of everyone on the call here tonight, all the players, thank you for putting this together, for getting this group of people together. It's very hard to get people together from all sorts of walks of life, and we're all busy and all that stuff. So thank you for recognizing the 93 team, including the 2000 team into the 30th anniversary, for both Meg and Marcia, the work that you've both done to make tonight outstanding, and then the website to have that as a living legacy of the two teams. And then from there, the artifacts that have been collected, tons of hours have been put into it. So thank you so much. It's been incredibly special to see everyone tonight, and I'd imagine that probably we'll be connecting with each other quicker than we have over the past 20 to 30 years, just from being together tonight. So it's incredibly special to see everyone, and thank you. I know that not only Meg and Marcia, but all the other parents and contributors from town that spent some time on this and making it a really special event for all of us. So thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you back. And I'm going to sneak in before I mean, sorry if I'm stepping on that, but I just have to say, without Devin and Mindy, this and all of you, but without Devin saying, hey, I think there could be something here. And then Devin and Mindy and Kelly and Lisa specifically, like really being driving forces, like, let's get everybody together. So thank you, ladies. I appreciate every single part of your involvement in this program. And I just really appreciate all of you.
Very proud of you all. You're great human beings. This is great. And thank to the Historical Society of Marsh and Eileen and Linda Vanelli. I mean, so many people to make this happen and to make so many of us happy. And is that the good little sister I'm seeing there, or is that the monster? It's the good one. Oh, excellent. Takes after her aunt. So
no,
good
she
to see
takes
you
it
guys.
after me. That's why she's good. The other one takes after her aunt.
Yes, we know. Thank you all for showing up. I really appreciate it so much.
And Meg, am I on? We need to give a huge shout out to Coach Webb. Yesterday, I believe it was.
Yeah.
She won a huge golf tournament.
Yeah.
She beat out oodles of men.
Lots.
Lots of men.
Yep.
And she won it all.
Won it all.
And she was given a bundle of money.
Listen to this, guys.
Big stuff.
$2,500. That's more than I made when I coached you guys. Thanks, Eileen.
Oh, absolutely. And also on behalf of the Historical Society, a special thank you to Marcia Grisloff's team, Mojawoda, Smith Academy class of 1965, and to Meg Baker, our society's curator, for the countless, unbelievable hours of interviews, the photo presentation, video and technical productions of this event. They are just incredible women who did great. Their expertise never wavered, and we shall be forever grateful. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks so much, guys. Appreciate it. Love seeing you all. You look great.